In a small town on the coast of California, there lived a young woman named Emma and her son, Jaden. Their story was not an easy one, but one filled with love, care, and hope. Emma found out she was pregnant when she was only 22 years old. She was happy, but the news was a turning point in her relationship with her husband, Liam. Liam, feeling afraid and pressured by responsibility, decided to disappear from her life before the baby was born. When Jaden was born, Emma vowed that she would do everything she could to make sure her son didn't lack anything. She worked as a waitress during the day and completed an accounting course in the evening to provide for both of them. Jaden grew up as a curious, cheerful boy, but one day, when he was 5 years old, he asked for the first time, "Mommy, why don't we have a daddy like everyone else?" Emma was not prepared for this question. She took a deep breath and answered, "Jaden, your dad had to go away. But he used to love you very much, even before you were born." The boy thought about it, but said nothing more. When Jaden turned 14, the question of his father became acute. He saw his friends talking to their fathers, playing basketball or going fishing together. One evening, sitting on the porch of their small house, Jaden said, "Mom, I want to find my dad." Emma froze for a moment. Her eyes moistened, but she managed to compose herself. "I understand, Jaden. It's your right." She gave him everything she knew about Liam, an old photo, an address that may no longer exist, and a few fragmentary stories. Jaden began his search, which became a real challenge for him. He used social media, databases, and even traveled to cities where Liam might have been seen. His girlfriend, Skylar, whom he met in high school, became his best support. She helped him text strangers, ask people, and make a list of possible locations. "We're going to find him, Jaden," she would say when he was losing faith. One morning, when Jaden was already 19 years old, he received a message from a man who said he knew Liam. Jaden and Skylar traveled to another state where his father lived in an old trailer. Liam, now a 45-year-old man, looked nothing like Jaden had imagined. He was unshaven, dressed in old worn-out clothes, and his breath reeked of alcohol. But even so, Jaden saw something familiar, eyes that looked like his own. "You Liam?" Jaden asked, stepping closer. The man looked at him with surprise and then with a sense of guilt. "So, who are you?" "I'm Jaden, your son." It took Liam a moment to realize what was happening, but then he sat down in an old chair and pressed his hands to his face. "I've always been afraid of this day," he said, lowering his head. Instead of being angry or reproachful, Jaden held out his hand. "Dad, I want to help you." From that moment on, their lives began to change. Jaden helped Liam get rid of his addiction, get a job, and even find a new place to live. Liam tried to make up for lost time by spending time with his son. This story became a lesson for both of them about forgiveness, faith, and the fact that even the most difficult relationships can find a second chance. Life after the reunion was not easy. Liam, who had been living in despair and loneliness for many years, often broke down. Although Jaden did everything he could to support him, there were days when Liam would fall back into old habits. "Dad, you have to understand that I'm not here to judge you. I'm here because I want you to be the best you can be," Jaden would say after another setback. Skylar was also part of this struggle. She often told Liam, "Liam, your son needs you." Even now, even after everything, Liam began to change gradually. At first, it was small steps. He stopped drinking for a few days, started keeping the house clean, and later even enrolled in a rehabilitation program. Jaden accompanied him, reassuring him that he was not alone. One day, when Liam had been sober for several months, he decided to tell Jaden why he had left his family. They were sitting on the riverbank, where Liam often sought out silence. "You know, Jaden, I'm not proud of leaving you and your mom. But I was young, stupid, and weak. I was afraid of responsibility. I thought I couldn't handle it. It was easier to run away." Jaden listened carefully. He was hurt, but at the same time he understood that it was a part of the past that he could not change. "I can't bring back that time, but I can try to be better now, if you'll let me," Liam said, looking at his son hopefully. "You're already doing that, Dad," Jaden replied. Jaden decided it was time to tell his mother about his newfound connection to his father. He brought Liam to their old house, where he and Emma still lived. When Emma opened the door and saw the man she hadn't seen in over 19 years, her eyes filled with tears. But she remained calm and simply said, "Liam." "Hello, Emma," he said quietly. "I don't know if I have a right to be here, but our son has given me a second chance." Emma looked at the two of them and felt that the part of her heart that had always been filled with pain had finally begun to heal. In a year, Liam became a completely different person. He found a job at a local auto repair shop where he used the skills he had before. He moved closer to his family and became a part of their lives. Jaden continued his studies at college, but every weekend they met together. Liam even became friends with Skylar, joking that she was already part of their family. One day, when they were all together celebrating Jaden's birthday, Emma raised her glass of juice and said, "Life can be hard, but when we choose love and forgiveness, we win." These words summarized their long, difficult, but also beautiful journey to healing and family restoration. Life began to return to normal, but even this new chapter in their story was not without its challenges. Liam had a hard time getting used to the responsibility he felt during his years of absence. He often said to Jaden, "I don't know if I can ever compensate you for what you've been through." "Dad, I don't need compensation," Jaden would reply, "I need you, and having you here is the most important thing." Emma also faced an internal struggle. She could not completely forget the feelings of betrayal that Liam had left in her heart. But for Jaden's sake, she decided to be patient and support their new relationship. "It's hard, but I can see you're trying. And I appreciate it," she told Liam one evening as they shared tea in her kitchen. "Thank you, Emma. I don't deserve this, but I'm grateful that you let me be a part of your life," he replied. Jaden began to think about the future. His dream had always been to become an engineer, and now, with the support of his family, he decided to apply to a prestigious university. Liam helped him collect recommendations, and Emma supported him in preparing for the exams. When the acceptance letter came, Jaden gathered the whole family to share the news. "I got in," he exclaimed, holding up the official notification. "I knew you would," Liam said, hugging his son. "You deserve it, Jaden," Emma added, tears of joy in her eyes. Before Jaden left for university, they decided to spend a few days together at an old campsite by the lake where Liam had often visited in his youth. They sat around the campfire, shared stories, and dreamed about the future. "You know, Jaden, I wasn't a good father, but you gave me a second chance. Now I know what a real family is," Liam said, looking at the fire. "Dad, you will always be my father. We all make mistakes, but it's how we try to fix them that counts," Jaden replied. When it was time to say goodbye, Liam and Emma walked their son to the bus. Liam kept his face serious, but the tears in his eyes spoke more than any words. "Write to us, call us. We are always here for you, even if we are far away," Emma said, hugging Jaden. Jaden started a new chapter in his life at university, but he never forgot about his family. Every weekend he called Emma and Liam, telling them about his successes and new friends. Liam continued to work and help others who, like him, had gone through difficult times. He volunteered at a local program for people with addictions, inspiring them with his story. Emma found new happiness in her work and socializing with friends, feeling that her efforts as a mother had not been in vain. A few years later, when Jaden graduated from university, he returned home with his diploma and new plans for the future. They celebrated his success together, and Jaden raised his glass of juice, saying, "We've come a long way, but I could never have done it without you. You are my family and I am grateful for every moment we have shared together." Emma and Liam looked at him with pride, knowing that their struggles, mistakes, and forgiveness had created something extremely valuable, true love and support that would always be the foundation of their lives. After returning home, Jaden decided not to rest on his laurels. He received an offer to work for a company that developed environmentally friendly technologies. His dream of making the world a better place became a reality. Jaden decided to stay in his hometown to be closer to his family. He rented a small house nearby, but visited Emma and Liam every week to help them with household chores. One night over dinner, Jaden shared the news. "We have a project in our company that can change our city. We are planning to install solar panels at a local school." "That sounds great, son," Liam said, looking at him proudly. "You're really doing something important." Emma smiled and added, "I knew you were meant for something great." Liam continued to work on himself. He decided to get a mechanic's certificate and open a small workshop. It was his way of giving back to the town that gave him a second chance. Liam's workshop became popular among the locals. He always worked honestly and even offered free repairs for those who could not afford them. One day, Jaden brought Liam a new set of tools that he had wanted for a long time but could not afford. "You always take care of me, Jaden," Liam said, holding up the box, "but now it's time for me to do something for you." Liam started saving money, dreaming of helping his son buy his own house one day. Emma hasn't been left out of the new changes either. She had always been busy working and raising Jaden, but now that he was older, she decided to take time for herself. At one of the local events, she met a man named Henry, who was kind and attentive. Henry worked as a librarian and shared Emma's love of books. "You know, I've always wanted to start a book club in our town," he told her during their first conversation. "That's a great idea. I would love to help," Emma replied. Henry became a close friend to Emma, but she was hesitant to introduce him to Jaden and Liam. She was afraid it might be wrong. But one night, at a family dinner, Jaden brought up the subject himself. "Mom, I can see how much you've changed lately. You seem happy. Is it because of someone?" Emma blushed and told him about Henry. Jaden was happy for her, and Liam even joked, "If this Henry guy ever hurts you, Emma, I'll talk to him myself." They decided to celebrate the next Christmas together, Emma, Jaden, Liam, and Henry. It was the first holiday when everyone felt like a real family. Henry got along well with Liam, and they even joked that they could start a business together. "You two are like old friends," Emma laughed as she watched them talk. Skylar, who was still by Jaden's side, suggested the idea of making it a tradition to take a photo together for every holiday. "We want to remember these moments," she said. All the difficulties they had experienced were in the past, but each of them knew that these trials had made them stronger. Liam had become a real father again, Emma had found a new love, and Jaden and Skylar were building a future full of dreams and possibilities. One evening, sitting together by the fireplace, Liam said, "You know, I always thought I had lost everything. But now I realize that family is a second chance, and I'm grateful that you gave it to me." And all of them knew that no matter how difficult life's paths are, love, faith, and forgiveness can always find their way back to the heart. Jaden and Skylar became even closer. Their relationship was deep and strong, as they had gone through many trials together. One day, while walking by the lake where they had once discussed finding Liam, Jaden pulled a small velvet box out of his pocket. "Skylar, you were always there for me when I needed you. You believed in me even when I doubted myself. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you be my wife?" Skylar looked at him in surprise and joy, tears shining in her eyes. "Yes. Of course I will." The news of the engagement quickly spread throughout the family. Emma and Henry were thrilled, and Liam even started preparing for the wedding, joking that he was now officially the head planner. Not only did Liam successfully run the workshop, but he also began working with young people who were struggling with addiction. His story became a source of inspiration for many. He ran workshops, helped organize support groups, and even founded a small organization called Second Chances. "Everyone deserves a chance to start over," he said at an event, holding Jaden's hand. "My son showed me that love and faith can change lives." Jaden and Skylar's wedding was simple but touching. They decided to have it outdoors, by the same lake where Jaden proposed. Family and friends came together to celebrate their special day. Liam delivered a speech that brought tears to many of the guests' eyes. "Jaden, you changed my life. You taught me to fight, to love, and to never give up. Skylar, you not only became a part of our family, but you helped my son find happiness. I am so proud of you both." Emma, who was sitting next to Henry, couldn't contain her emotions either. She knew that this was the moment she had dreamed of all her life, seeing her son happy. After the wedding, Jaden and Skylar moved to a new home they bought together. Jaden continued to work on environmental projects, and Skylar opened her own business, a coffee shop that quickly became a favorite spot for locals. Liam continued to support his organization, but now he worked alongside Henry, who helped him create educational programs for teenagers. Emma also joined their initiative, organizing events for mothers who were raising children on their own. A few years later, Jaden and Skylar announced that they were expecting a baby. It was good news for the whole family. Liam immediately offered to help. "I'll be the best grandfather you can imagine." When their son, whom they named Logan, was born, Liam held him in his arms and said, "Life gives us not only second chances, but third, fourth, and fifth chances. We just have to be ready to accept them." Emma, who was sitting next to him, said quietly, "And we have to be grateful for what we have." Jaden's family had grown, but the love and support that united them remained the same. Each of them knew that there would still be difficulties ahead, but now they had the most important thing, each other. Their story proved that even after the darkest times, life can bring light. After all, love, faith and forgiveness are the forces that can change everything. A few years later, when life seemed perfect for Jaden and his family, something happened that no one expected. One day, a man she didn't recognize came into Skylar's coffee shop. He looked nervous, and when he saw her, he asked, "Are you Skylar Gray?" "Yes, I am." "And who are you?" she replied, surprised at his sudden appearance. "My name is Mark Blake. I need to talk to your husband. It's about his father." Skylar immediately felt anxious. She called Jaden, and they arranged to meet Mark at their home that evening. When Mark showed up, he brought with him some shocking news. Liam owed money to some very dangerous people years ago. They'd been looking for him for a long time, and now they knew where he was. "I've been working with them, but I don't want this to go too far." Jaden was stunned. "My father left this life a long time ago. He's changed?" "You're wrong." Mark shook his head. "They don't believe in second chances. If the debt is not paid, they will find a way to punish him. And you, too, Jaden." Jaden and Skylar couldn't keep the news from Emma and Liam. When Liam heard about it, he was silent at first, but then he confessed. "It's true. I made a lot of mistakes when I was young and stupid. I thought those debts had long been written off or forgotten. I didn't know it could come back." Emma could not contain her anger. "You've dragged us into your problems again. Why didn't you say something before?" Liam lowered his head, feeling guilty. "I thought I could fix everything myself. I didn't want you to suffer again because of me." Jaden looked at his father and said firmly, "We are a family. We'll figure this out together, but you have to be honest. How much do you owe?" The amount was huge, more than they could afford. Jaden decided to take action. He asked Mark for advice on how to resolve the situation without conflict. "They need money or they're going to use force," Mark said, "but if you're willing, we can find a compromise." Jaden started working overtime and selling everything he could. Liam also made an effort. He sold his workshop, although it was a painful decision for him. Emma, who was initially angry with Liam, saw how sincerely he was trying to make things right. She even offered to help with the money she had been saving for her future. When the money was raised, Jaden and Liam went to meet the people Liam owed. It was a dark warehouse on the outskirts of town. The people who met them looked dangerous, but Jaden was confident. "We brought the money. It's everything you wanted. Now leave us alone," he said, handing over the suitcase. The leader of the group, a tall man with a scar on his face, looked at Liam. "You are lucky to have a son like that. He corrects your mistakes. But this is the last time. If you fail us again, the consequences will be dire." When they left the warehouse, Liam cried, "Jaden, I don't deserve you. You're doing what I should have done. Dad, you fixed everything. That's the most important thing. But now you have to keep your promise and start a new life without the old shadows." After this incident, Liam completely changed his attitude to life. He returned to volunteering and started giving lectures about taking responsibility for his actions. His story became even stronger, and people listened to him with deep respect. Jaden, though tired after everything, realized that his family had become even stronger. This turning point taught them all the most important thing: problems can be solved if you don't lose faith in each other. Skylar told him one night, "You're a real hero, Jaden. Not just for me, but for your whole family." And Jaden knew that the darkest moments always lead to a new dawn. Several months have passed since Jaden and Liam settled their past debts. Everyone thought life was back to normal, but those events left their mark. Liam became even closer to his family, but he felt guilty that his mistakes had put his son in such danger. One evening, when the whole family gathered for dinner, Liam suddenly said, "I have an important decision to make, and I want you to hear it." The room fell silent, everyone focused on him. "I have decided to sell the house and move. I have found a small house in the countryside where I can live more peacefully. This will help me focus on my work and not disturb you." Emma was surprised. "Liam, that's not necessary. We've forgiven each other and moved on." "I know," Liam replied, "but I feel like it's time for me to start a whole new chapter, without the old memories and ties." Jaden understood his father's decision, although he was sad. "We will always be here for you, Dad. Just remember that no matter where you live, you are always part of our family." Meanwhile, Jaden received a new offer at work. His company asked him to lead a large-scale environmental project, but it required him to move to another city. "It's the chance I've always wanted," he told Skylar one night, "but it means we have to leave everything behind." Skylar, who had grown her coffee shop and built up many connections in her hometown, thought about it. "It's a tough decision, but I know you've earned it. If this is your dream, we will find a way to make it happen together." They discussed it with Emma and Henry, who were supportive. "Skylar, you can always go back to your business whenever you want," Emma said, "but the chances that come along in life are not worth missing." Before they moved, they decided to have a big farewell gathering for friends and family. Everyone gathered at the same lake where Jaden proposed to Skylar. Liam gave a speech. "I've always said that Jaden changed my life, but now I see that he's changing a lot of people's lives. We're all here because he taught us how to love, forgive, and fight for what's best." Skylar added, "This is not goodbye. This is just a new adventure for our family. We will be coming back here to share our stories." Everyone applauded, and Jaden looked at his family with a sense of deep gratitude. Life in the new city was challenging but exciting. Jaden worked on projects that helped change the city's landscape by making it greener. Skylar opened a new coffee shop, which quickly became popular among the locals. But the biggest surprise was that Logan, their young son, began to show interest in nature. One day he said, "Dad, when I grow up, I want to work to save the planet like you." These words became the greatest gift for Jaden. A few years later, Liam decided to visit his son and grandson in the new city. He looked healthier and happier than ever. He told me that he had started a new workshop and was continuing to help young people, but now in a new environment. "You taught me not to be afraid to start over," he told Jaden, "and now I see you teaching your son the same thing." One day, the city where they lived suffered an environmental disaster. A chemical spill threatened the river that supplied the city with water. Jaden was among the first to propose a solution. His experience and perseverance helped avert a tragedy, and it made him a hero in his new community. Logan, who saw his father working day and night, said, "Dad, you're not only saving the planet, you're teaching me how to be a person who cares about others." Those words made Jaden realize that everything they had been through was worth it to give his family a future of hope and love. So they continued to move forward, united by a bond that nothing could break. Living in a new city became a symbol of change and new opportunities for Jaden's family. One evening, sitting by the fireplace in their home, Jaden and Skylar discussed the future. Logan was playing nearby, building something out of construction sets that he said was the future city. "Skylar," Jaden said, looking into the fire, "I think it's time to think about the next step." Skylar raised her eyebrows, interested. "What do you mean?" "I've started getting offers to work abroad. One of the projects is in Scandinavia. It's something incredible, an opportunity to influence an entire country. But I don't know if it's right for us." Skylar paused, holding a cup of tea in her hands. "Jaden, you've always wanted to do more. And if this is what will make you happy, I'm willing to consider it. But we need to consider Logan, too." Meanwhile, Logan walked over to them, holding his construction set in his hands. "Look, Dad, Mom, this is the city of the future, where everyone lives happily. I want us to live there too." Skylar and Jaden smiled as they looked at their son. His words seemed simple, but they had a deep meaning. "Maybe it's a sign?" Skylar asked. Jaden smiled as he thought about how their journey had led them to this point. "Maybe," he replied, "but we'll make the final choice together." The family sat together, discussing their options. No decision had been made, but their eyes shone with faith and a common dream. Outside the window, the lights of the city that had become their new home flickered, but there were endless horizons ahead. And they knew that wherever their lives took them, their love and support would always remain unchanged. Life was full of surprises, but every new day was a chance to write the next chapter of their story.